Okay, looks like it worked. Okay, it seems like it works. Right, so we're back with the 1200 XL with the ClearPic mode. I was a bit thrown by the drop frames there, unfortunately. That doesn't usually happen, but it seems the things are working now. We're recording and streaming, so hopefully you can see everything. And now we've got chat popped out, and everything looks pretty good. How about the audio? Audio seems okay. Okay. Excellent. So let's press on. Lost a bit of time yesterday because I wasn't feeling too well again. It seems to happen every few days at the moment. So I'm a bit late getting on tonight because I got stuck into some videos on YouTube that were a bit engrossing. But never mind, I'm here now. Could have cleaned the desktop since I was last here, but never mind. Sort the windows out here. Let's close this down. Let's close this down. Right, dashboard. Stream resumed. No dropped frames. Good. Alright. Let's crack on. So I've got the instructions for the ClearPic mod open on the screen here, so I can refer to them. I should know it off by heart now, but so we've removed all the components in this picture here, which we can have a look at. So we've cleared all these areas, and now I've got to repopulate some of them with the parts as described here. So let's get the view back on the desk and let's proceed. So 75. Well, we'll start with the 1 ohm resistors, wherever they are. I think I put them out on the table. Yes, I did. Everything's a mess. Here we go. That's better. So I'm going to use this footage for a standalone video at some point, so I better describe what I'm doing. So 1 ohm resistor goes in place. Now this is the SiO 5 volt modification. So we're replacing the current limiting resistor that was at R63 with a 1 ohm resistor, so that we get full 5 volts on the 5 volt pin of the SiO port. That's what I'm thinking of doing anyway. Doing live streams just when I feel like it, because I don't often feel like it actually. And when I'm not doing live streams, I'll do either pre-recorded edited videos, which may or may not be rehashes of material from live streams. Not previous live streams, but obviously live streams made with that in mind. So R63 gets a 1 ohm resistor, L15 gets a 1 ohm resistor, and I believe C115 does as well. So we've got a couple of 1 ohm resistors here. It has to travel a fair old distance on the C115, so bend it to suit. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, all the quiet parts will get chopped out. I mean, I don't know if that's a popular idea, doing sort of self-contained edited videos, but certainly one user, viewer, thought it would be a good idea. Ouch! Where does the other one go? R31. Where are you? R31. Where the hell is R31? I should know all this by now. Where the hell is R31? I know you're there somewhere. What? Let's check the picture again. Maybe it'll be easier to see on the picture. Oh yes. Is it one I forgot to take off? Yes, it is. I always forget to take one off. Every time. Every single time. Ow, 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 ow. Quite heavy, these boards. Come on, it's Friday night. Must be somebody in chat. Did anybody watch? Is it the channel The Tipster, who's just done a video about the VCS, suggesting that the prototype motherboard that they had at some show, some launch event, was just a generic AMD prototyping board? I mean, I don't know if that's just a question of semantics to some extent. Haven't really been keeping up with this stuff, but did they claim it was a prototype VCS board? I'm assuming they did. There's a difference between a prototype board and a prototyping board. I'm going to pinch some resistors from here, aren't I? Which ones? That one. And where's the other one? Not there. 130 ohm resistors I'm going to reuse. Oh yes. But yeah, it's clearly a generic prototyping board. It's not a. But damningly they photoshopped out the model number of the prototyping board, the AMD board, very poorly. I must say. I mean, if you're going to Photoshop something out of a picture, surely would make a half decent job of it. And otherwise, your eyes just are drawn straight to it. So R23 gets a. R23 and R24 get 130 ohm resistor. A reconditioned 130 ohm resistor. Seller refurbished. And another one. But yeah, I think it's a bunch of bullshit, that VCS, I really do. But I don't say that with any degree of authority. I haven't really been glued to the story, but yeah, something doesn't seem quite right about it. And the video links to a thread on Atari Age where he first someone on Atari Age had posted about the similarities between this AMD dev board and the supposed VCS prototype that was shown, and they do look very similar. The VCS board seems to have these extra bits on it, these big, largely unpopulated sections. But generally speaking, they're almost identical. And he also points out the size of the board. And I think if you're going to claim that something's a pre-production prototype, more or less, I mean, the board that they showed is just ridiculously big and cannot possibly fit inside the case that they've been banding around. Absolutely no way. So yeah, something not quite right there. I hope I'm still live. I'm a bit shaken by that stream failure followed by a reconnect. Hopefully everything's good. Well, at least I'm recording locally, so what the hell? Okay. 75 ohm resistors, we need 2 of them. And one is on R25 and the other one is on R28, which are right down here. Let's put you up there for a minute. So once everything's off the board, it's a quick job. It's clearing the board that takes the time. This is a new repair shop has opened up around the corner from here called, I don't really want to give them a plug, but nobody really watches this anyway, so it's called Tech Fixed for You. And this is run by someone who used to call himself Lord something or other. And he previously had a shop not far from the current store, I think about 4 years ago or something, and one of the big bragging things that he's got is that he's I'm assuming he or someone who works there is Apple certified to work on Apple gear, and of course is a long time, 2 years now, fan of Lewis Rossman. I don't think that holds an enormous amount of weight. I noticed I was watching Lewis Rossman video earlier on, and he had a donation from someone who is actually Apple certified, and they pointed out that now Apple certified third-party independent repair stores are now allowed to do board level component replacement. I think this is a new development if it's true, because of course you may have seen the video, the excellent video that Lewis posted. It's a repost of a CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Company, expose on Apple. They'd been in touch with Lewis and asked if he could help them to write a story about Apple, and he said that just find a MacBook that doesn't work, take it into the Apple store, and the story will basically write itself. I'm going to put now a 1K resistor across R38. So yeah, so he said to the reporter, just take the machine into the shop and ask them what's wrong with it, and the story will basically write itself. And it's really, really good. I think the video's got about 700,000 views now, and that's just the repost that Lewis did. So they go into the undercover camera and they go into the shop. The MacBook's got no backlight, and of course, having watched Lewis all this time, 47 ohms. I know that the common causes of no backlight, usually liquid damage around the LED driver and that kind of thing, or it could be a bad screen, of course, it could be the screen cable, or for whatever reason the backlight isn't boosting. So they go into the shop, and the guy at the Genius Bar takes it out the back and comes back, and he says, oh, the liquid damage indicators, the little red stickers, have gone red, so there's been a liquid spill on the machine. You're going to need a new logic board at the very least, possibly a new screen. And he quotes him $1,200 for this. 47 ohm resistor. I'm now going to put, this is an edit point, I'm now going to put a 47 ohm resistor across R44. So he comes back anyway and he quotes him this ridiculous bill. Absolutely no alternative. Where's R44? And the guy can't believe it, obviously. And then it cuts to him going to the Rossman repair store on, I think, First Avenue in the East Village, and he gives a bit of background about Lewis, and he gives him the laptop anyway, and Lewis takes the bottom off and has a quick look and unplugs the screen and notices that the backlight pin 1 of the LVDS connector, or is it the display port? I'm not sure, one of the two, is bent, and he just bends the pin straight and the laptop works perfectly well. And it's like a free repair, you know, put something in the tip jar sort of thing. Absolutely ludicrous. And but anyway, I don't believe that. Where's my other capacitors gone? Shit. Oh, there. Is it 68? Double check. I don't believe that the people at the Apple store obviously aren't going to get too hands-on with measuring things, but I mean that's literally a problem that you could fix without any tools at all. It's absolutely shocking. And so anyway, when this guy who runs this shop, Lord, Lord Dennis somebody, he's actually written on the Facebook page of this company that Apple certified, and anyone who isn't is just playing. So it's ludicrous and demonstrably not true, because there is a thriving third-party repair industry of non-Apple qualified engineers. Not all of them are competent, of course. There's a few bad apples who operate out of Walmart and stuff, and you can watch some videos on Lewis's channel if you're interested in some of the horror stories, some of the crap that Lewis gets sent by other stores to clean up their mess. But there are a lot of competent third-party repair stores out there, and for this guy to just, you know, make a blanket assumption that anyone who isn't Apple certified is just playing is just ridiculous. And having been famously rejected by Red Hat as a senior documentation author a few weeks ago, I was tempted when I heard that this shop was opening to go, because I actually know the guy's wife. She's the ex-wife of someone I went to university with, and she's just quite a nice woman, and I was tempted to go there cap in hand and say, "Gives a job, mate," but yeah, I'm not quite sure how what their modus operandi is there now. Because the thing is, on the website, I'm rambling here, I'm going to get back to the job. So a 68 picofarad capacitors going on C62, 68 PF. Here we go. A little fella in there. So he has some alarming things. He doesn't seem to know whether he's going to do phone repairs. And now he's had two previous shops before. As I said, he had the one further up the road, which went tits up after about 6 months, as far as I can remember. Like a really professional looking operation as well, like loads of staff, uniform, racking and stuff, and just like loads of TVs and stuff piled up at the back. Looked really busy. Whether or not they were busy, I don't know, but they looked busy. And that went bust, so he moved. Or it didn't go bust, or whatever. He moved further up towards Horsley Hill, where the rent was presumably a bit cheaper, because, you know, you have to get your windows put in, and there's like a no-go area for kebab shops and stuff, and pizza shops for deliveries. So that didn't last either. But the thing is, unless you're going to do phones around here in South Shields, unless you're going to do phones and tablet repairs, I can't honestly see what the market is for it, because nobody around here really has Apple laptops and stuff. And if you're going to do other laptops, where are you going to get the schematics from? And if you're going to do TVs, he says the smallest thing we fix is a TV. Well, are the schematics for these TVs available? As far as I'm aware, in my experience, most televisions that are repairable have a problem with the power supply. So you're going to either replace the caps on the power supply, and if that doesn't work, you're going to buy a new power supply board off eBay or something. And if that doesn't work, you're going to throw it away. And the TV's only going to be worth about 200 or 300 quid. So how much are you going to charge for this? You have to wonder. And I mean, if you've got like a band down the screen, I mean, most televisions just get broken, so they need a new screen, and it's not cost effective. But if like the hotbar column and row drivers have got a break in them, how are you going to fix that? It's just not worth the bother, you know. So I have to wonder how long it'll last. I mean, I hope it does. I mean, good luck to them, but this is because there's like a phone screens, for example. Right, this is the one nanofarad, well, 1000 picofarad. I can never do the conversion, but anyway, C63 is getting this part, which is down here. I hope this is the right part. Well, I can fucking measure it. So I was replaced. Is anybody watching this video? Oh yeah, good. I don't mind as long as I'm not talking to myself. You don't have to listen, but there's like a place up at Jarrow. Right, that is 2 point. What the hell is this? I don't think that's the right part. Let's have a look. Have I got the right part here? That's 102. That should be right. Oh, let's check. Oh. Yeah, that's the right part. Transgression 2. Yes, thank you. Good, good, good. So it's like I was doing replacing the screen on an iPhone 5S. I forget what I paid for the screen. The screen's really cheap, but I wanted the whole glass and screen assembly, the whole digitizer and everything. I didn't want to faff about with adhesive. I don't know how much the screen was, about 20 quid or 25 quid. So I charged the woman like 40 quid or something for the whole job. And there was this shop, shit, I'm putting this in the wrong place. There's this shop up in Jarrow, I think, who somebody at my wife's work knows the people who run it or something. One of these ridiculous places where they spell everything with a Z, you know, when it should be an S. You know the kind of place. Well, you may not know the kind of place unless you live in the UK. And obviously they've got a unit, an industrial unit, and they can afford to buy. I mean, it's a commercial operation. They'll be buying these screens in bulk. And she completely lost her shit because I was going to charge this woman 40 quid when this other place, this commercial operation, will do it for 30 quid or something. So that's the other point. How is this guy going to compete with her when he's not even sure if he's going to repair phones at all? So I take it he hasn't got an existing customer base for phones, and he's wondering whether he's going to do them or not. And there's a place up the road that will do an iPhone 5S complete screen replacement for 30 quid. I mean, you know. Anyway, let's touch these up a bit. I think I've got everything on now. I've got the two caps, I've got all the resistors, yeah, everything's on. So we should get a picture, hopefully. Let's touch this up. So each time I had a close look at this. So there you go, everything's on the board. Let's do a nice panning shot there so we can see. I can't really get it any lower down than that, but there we go. Let's just get this out of the corner. Wouldn't it look better if that wasn't there? There we go. That's the other thing about live streaming, is I have to make sure that I'm like reasonably presentable, you know. I mean, all by degrees, obviously. I mean, I'm not claiming that this is presentable, but Yeah, it gets difficult. Oh god, yes. Right, so let's see if we've got a picture. In fact, okay, so now we've got all the parts in place, so let's see if we've got a picture. There we go. Right, plug this in. We're not going to get colour yet because I haven't put the wire on. I should have done that, shouldn't I? Oh, balls. Let's put the wire on first. Once you see some colour. I'll get me some wire. Yeah, this video, when it's edited down, it's going to be like 2 minutes long. How long does this wire need to be? I know that it pops up. This is the chroma wire. Anyway, we're going to add a wire to bring chroma out because it's not connected by default, and I believe it's down here off bottom of R27. Let's see if I remember that correctly. Let's just see if I've actually anything's gone in. Right. Oh, here we go. Add a wire from the junction of R27 and C61 to J2, pin 5. Okay, so it's got to travel a fair way. That's not going to be good at all. Let's get some longer wire. A nice piece of wire. Do you think there is space in the market for a modern 8-bit era style computer that is portable and self-service upgradable like an XL or ZX? Perhaps running something akin to Aros Symbos Contiki. That's a good question. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Hold on. So would this be using original hardware or something like the 1088XEL or something all kind of VHDL solution? Like hardware emulation, if you like. Like a consumer experience sort of thing. I'm assuming so, because obviously you can run Symbos on, a stock machine. Right, where the hell is this junction? Holy crap. Where is the strip at? Yeah, so do you mean something like what do you call it, the MIST with a pre-installed operating system, or do you mean just something like the 1088XEL? Right. Junction of R27. So is that at the front? No, it's the back pin. There we go. Okay, so we're going to run a wire here. We're going to run a wire for our chroma signal. Try and get it so it goes in perpendicular to the board if possible. That looks okay. A little bit of solder on here. There we go. I'd like a, speaking of Symbos, I'd really like a, I'd like a CPC or something. Not as if I needed more machines in here, but I wouldn't mind a CPC to run Symbos on. That'd be a lot of fun. Perhaps something new and approachable, producible still, but with the tenets of the 8-bit era, single tasking, mostly self-serviceable instant boot. Promotes understanding of hardware. So like the 1088 XAL perhaps. Have you seen the 1088 XAL? If I can reach it. Because this uses original parts. I'll put that over there. So this uses original parts, and it's serviceable, and it can be produced today, and it uses lots of commonly available upgrades and stuff, or it can accommodate them. And it works with a PS2 keyboard and a PS2 mouse and stuff. And like, if I can get the GUI finished at any point before I go completely senile, then that would be a nice sort of thing at the front end, to have the GUI boot up. But the trouble with GUIs is that actually, although I'm actually working on one, of course, a multitasking operating system, there's something, it takes something away from this, what you mentioned, the single tasking sort of paradigm. It kind of takes something away from that. And when I find I'm in a windowed environment on the 8-bit Atari, I'm kind of longing for text mode, if you know what I mean. It's the strangest thing. Very odd. If you want a GUI, go use a machine that has a GUI on it. It seems a contrivance, let's put it that way. I can appreciate that it is a contrivance. It seems a contrivance. It's most odd. But the 1088 XAL, the user experience seems to be pretty balanced, because it's, I mean, the firmware is all text mode, but it looks pretty, and you boot to a CLI most of the time. But it's quite expensive. I mean, it's not a cheap proposition necessarily. So I don't know. There's a lot of them around with the Mist, and there's another one whose name I forget. The 1088 XAL, and someone in Poland made another reproduction board using original parts. So you can go the Mist route, and you can go that route, and so I don't know. I'm biased towards the 1088 XAL because it uses original parts, and of course it's got my software on it, which is always the mark of quality. Okay, so oh shit. Okay, so let's see if we've got a picture. We've got a picture. Isn't that awesome? Let's full screen the picture. Okay, we've got a picture and we've got color. Is there anything else good we can do? Well, if we plug in one of these keyboards that I've already repaired, we can test that out as well. It's going to be great. So let's put this keyboard in, which I fixed the day before yesterday. Couldn't fix anything yesterday because I was spent most of the day on the toilet. But today I'm fixing things again. So let's press the help key and look at that beautiful picture. Look how beautiful that picture is. And we can go in here and we can test the keys to make sure they still work, and it just looks beautiful. It's really nice. It is nice, that picture actually. It's got the bars, the clock bars running down it, but Christ, yes, that's a nice picture. This is a good one. It's turned out well. Okay. I'm kind of reluctant to start this APE 32-in-1, but that's got to be done. I just don't like them, but I'm going to put it in anyway. So let's unplug everything and let's press on. Oh, hope the capture cable doesn't disappear down the gap behind the desk. So how many viewers have we got now? And more importantly, have we got 500 subscribers yet? Because I was obviously going to make a big deal about that, given that well, it's a big deal to me. Let's have a look. Has anybody subscribed? Oh, I'm one away. Come on, the next person that subscribes is going to be number 500. It really means something to me, you know. It's meaningful for a small channel like this that nobody watches. Okay, so I better do something with the camera for this one. Alright, so we're now going to crap, let's start that again. Alright, so we're going to try and see if we can fit this AtariMax 8 32-in-1 Warp OS 32-in-1 and basic into this 1200 XL. And the owner has helpfully provided these printed instructions that I can look at while I'm working on this. That's going to be great. So there's the board, and here's the machine. So let's get rid of this, get rid of this, get into this, move this. 4 viewers, awesome. Alright, so let's get the documentation on the screen. I'll link to the installation instructions, which are online. Oh crap. In the description. Forgot I've got another keyboard to fix before this job's done, but never mind. So let's have a read here. Remove the cover from the computer. Well, we've done all that part, so we don't really need to do that. We've taken the motherboard out of the case. Well, that's already done. There was no case here. I wasn't sent the case. Now, question here. Have I not got to replace the MMU on this machine? Surely. I've got a basic chip. I've got the board. But does this not require an XE MMU? Well, let's read it and find out. Locate the OS ROMs in the photo to the right. Remove these from their sockets. Okay, that's these two fellas right here. Look carefully at the sockets that were holding the 1200XL OS ROM set. On most 1200XLs, there are 24-pin sockets installed. You will need to desolder these sockets and replace them with the 28-pin sockets that were included in your kit. Okay. Well, fortunately, I don't need them because they're already in the machine. Maybe the owner already realized this. After carefully replacing the sockets, which we don't need to do, put the old OS ROMs back into the sockets and test the computer. Right, we don't need to do any of that crap. If the computer works normally, then the sockets were installed correctly. Blah de blah de blah de blah. Blah de blah de blah. Look for W7 and W13 just to the right of the cartridge port. Desolder and remove W7, W8, and W9. Take the jumpers removed and install them in positions W11, W12, and W13. So we're going to swap all those jumpers over. Right, I want to get to the bit about the MMU. Remove jumper W6, this jumper, right, so that's must be an address line thing. Turn the PCB over and using a small length of wire, connect the top pad. Right, that is an address line, I presume. Right, take the resistor. Oh, fuck. What resistor? What? is this actually a complete kit, or is there something else in the box that I'm supposed to have that I haven't got? Okay, so loads of stuff I haven't got that I'll have to find. Yeah. Pull up or something. Yeah. Okay, so the Oh, fuck. You are kidding me, aren't you? What? MMU? What MMU? I wasn't given an MMU. I wasn't given a resistor, MMUs, or anything. As far as I can tell. Unless they're in here. No, this is the RAM upgrade. So where's my MMU? Have I got to take an MMU out of my spares box? I mean, rather, have I got to sell an MMU? Missing parts, yes, missing parts. I mean, I've got the parts, but well, I'm going to have to sell the parts. Let's see what's in. If I can, I don't want to dox the owner. Let's see what's in the box. If I missed anything. This is good. ASMR. Right, let's have a look over here. What we've got. So I expect to find a resistor. All sorts of other stuff. You bastard. You bastard. Oh. Oh well, there's nothing there. Oh. Well. Okay. So unless those parts have vanished, then they were never there. So what resistor value? Oh, Jesus Christ. What resistor value am I looking at here? Does it even tell you? I'm assuming it's a pull-up resistor. So what is it, 3.3k resistor? Or what? Ugh. Where's the kit? I know. WhatsApp. That'll get me out of trouble. Let's just check that the owner didn't send the parts in and I've lost them. Yeah, we could be doing another keyboard fix at this rate. Bring you over here. No wonder you say anything you're not supposed to see. Right. Right, see if we get a response to that. That should be fun. Martin, watch the video. In fact, tune into the go on chat. Go on chat, and then I don't have to type. He's probably spending time with his family or in the pub or something. Oh God, these people, what are they like? In the pub or chatting or doing stuff. Man, let's have another look. See if. I should probably have a look under the desk, on the floor, just to be sure. These bits were never here to start with. There's pointless looking around for them because I know for a fact they weren't there. Okay, so it's a 3.3k resistor or balls. Might as well do the other keyboard. My wife gets back in about half an hour. I don't want to be doing this then. Let's have a look at this other keyboard. Okay, so did I sign off on that last video? I suppose. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at this. Alright, so let's have a look at this keyboard, because I need to go off and look up the values of this pull up or pull down resistor. Oh, have we got a response? Let's have a look. Oh no. It's just Lewis with another video. Water damage? Question mark. Alright. Okay. That's ridiculous hair of mine. I've just been in the bath. So this is the cleanest you're going to see me on video. Absolutely the cleanest. Right, so let's have a look at this keyboard then. We'll do this keyboard, and then the only things we'll have to do tomorrow are the 32-in-1, and I'll try and have all the parts ready, and turn this off, we're not going to need the soldering iron. The 32-in-1 and the RAM upgrade, we'll do them tomorrow all in one go. Better check what that resistor is supposed to be and go in the spares box and see if you've got a nice XE MMU. I'm definitely running out of them now as well. So I have to sell it. And I'd probably rather keep it than sell it. So anyway, half the keys on this don't work. So let's have a look. See what we can do. Echo Koo says, thanks for sharing the 1088 XEL. Hadn't seen that yet. Oh, you've got to check it out. It's a really good project. Really hoovered up a lot of time after I got involved in it. But yes, it's a good one. I realise you've got the wrong camera on here. But yeah, they're quite expensive though. But I mean, you can understand why they're expensive because the amount of stuff that's in them. And if you go to the Brewing Academy, which is the website, McCrory's website, you can order one, or you can contact him through AtariAge, the AtariAge forum, username McCrory, and you can talk to him about getting a 1088 XEL put together. And he's got his price lists and everything, so I didn't buy mine because I was involved in the project. I got mine. I had to build mine. As you'll see, there's videos. There's about 5 videos covering assembling my board, which was a lot of interesting. Never seen that before. We've got a bit of a fold in the mylar in the corner there. Not a problem, but never ever seen that before. I'm assuming that's a manufacturing fault rather than someone having had the keyboard apart. Right, how difficult is this one going to be to... Right, I'm going to warm this board up and I'm going to use the hairdryer. Oh, there's AtariAdo or AtariAdo. I know you can't tell me how to pronounce that. AtariAdo? AtariAdo. I'm going to go with AtariAdo. So I'm going to... right. I'm going to heat this board up with a hairdryer. Let's see if we can get this dryer off. Are you well, AtariAdo? Okay, excuse me for about 5 minutes. All right. Last you said is okay, AtariAdo. Hi, Victor Parada as well. I'm well, thank you. I'm well today. I'm a lot better today than I was yesterday. I wasn't well at all yesterday, so that's why this I'm behind with this machine. So hopefully this healthy spell will continue more than a couple of days. So there's nothing good about getting older, except you gain insight. So I've heated this up with the, oh, you can't see it, it's looking at my head. Okay, so we've heated this thing up with a hairdryer, and I'm trying to avoid completely destroying this silicone layer by rolling a screwdriver underneath. as I peel it off the board. And it's a complete bitch. Hate it. Absolutely hate it. Sometimes they just peel off without any problem, but other times they are a complete nightmare. Really, really awful. The places you don't want to be tearing this stuff are around these pads, because that's where the keys are going to register. So you do not want, because if you ripped all of the silicon around here, you're going to end up with a falsely registering key, because there's going to be nothing to keep that away from the PCB, if you see what I mean. So that would be a worst case scenario if you manage to destroy it there. Okay, come on, you can do it. I sometimes wonder if the heat actually does anything at all, but that did seem to help. It should help. You can see how quite effective that rolling the screwdriver is underneath there, because it did salvage it. This is actually coming up better than the last one. It's tempting to just give it a tug, but it's be disastrous. That's just coming off really nicely. Very nice. This bit doesn't matter too much. I think it's going to be silver paint time on this one. Do you have any interest or thoughts on recent fantasy console efforts like Pico 8 or like 12 that try to reproduce the 8-bit era? I would have to look into them, because I'm ashamed to say I haven't heard of either of those at all, the Pico 8 or the like 12, but I will try and remember to have a look after this video. I really have no idea, so I will have to look into it. I need to do the same thing with my 1200 XL keyboard. It's very useful to see this now. But this is about the third video I've done on this. I did the pre-recorded one the other day, and I think about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago there's another one further back that covers the same thing. Might have been an 800 keyboard as well. It was Mitsumi that had a Mylar on it as well. But like I say, the idea is to do edited videos that get to the point a bit more clearly, so you don't have to sit through all the boring chit chat and random stream of consciousness stuff. Oh, what are you doing? There we go. That's better. Oh yes. I wonder if a sharper angle is better than removing this thing. Oh God, this is marvelous. Could I have discovered a new technique here? Sharp angle? I think this is just really... No, I just think it's as low tap, this one. But maybe. Oh, I see we're going to get a tear there if we're not careful. We're going from the other side a bit. things are getting a bit cool. Lyco 12. All right. Right, the audio is going to go weird now because I noticed the other day when this webcam mic cannot handle this and me talking, so I will look into that at some point after the end of the video. It seems to be popular to try and give a kind of a streamlined user experience with these 8-bits, because there's a thread on Atari Age at the moment regarding the X-Former emulator, which is going way back now for the Atari, and they've updated it, and it's got this super flashy tile display, which sort of depicts like 100 running titles all at once, and you just click on the one you want or touch it with your finger. I mean, it's very flashy, completely useless from my point of view because I don't play games and I'm completely invested in Altera because I need accuracy, because this X-Former like fails half the tests or 3/4 of the tests in the ACID 800 test, which is the emulation accuracy test, stress test that Avery wrote, and X-Former just completely, it's not an accurate emulator in these corner case sensors, but and I have downloaded it and tried it, and it's obviously you're not going to run into these accuracy issues straight away, but nor are they to be sort of trivialized. It's not a developer platform, certainly, but I can see the appeal for someone who just wants to play the games. Basically, it's a consumer device. Let's be clear. The difference between Altera is with its debugger and very lavish accuracy is that it's optionally a developing platform, and if you use it for playing your games, you can more or less guarantee that they're going to work as designed. But it requires a little bit of setting up, and I can see the appeal of this this new device, say on a television set or something, where you're not really concerned with having to worry about memory configurations and that sort of stuff. But I mean, we can overstate that, but so that's this is the little bastard that is responsible for all the trouble. I'm pretty sure this adhesive strip, it seems that the carbon bands are impregnated into the plastic. I'm assuming that this was glued on both sides and stuck down, and the idea was that it would glue this. Oh, have we been lucky again? Oh yes, there's no missing carbon on the fingers. I don't have to get the paint out. Oh yes, brilliant, marvelous. Anyway, sorry about that, but this I'm assuming it was impregnated so that it was meant to conduct on both sides, if you see what I mean. But it's just junk, and it degrades, and it completely open circuits the whole keyboard. So this keyboard's going to be a lot easier than the last one. So I was a little bit annoyed with myself because I chose a keyboard that didn't need conductive paint, and I've gone and chosen another keyboard that doesn't need conductive paint. So, well, in a way that was unavoidable. The video I made on Wednesday, it didn't matter which keyboard I picked, I wasn't going to get to do the conductive paint thing. But that's good because I hate it. I hate it. Hate the conductive paint. It's just a pain. It's difficult to apply. It's probably dead easy if you got a decent defogger pen or something, I don't know. But I've never got any decent brushes, and you know, it's just a pain in the ass. So this gunk here needs to be scraped off. It's between the tracks. I'm not entirely sure half the time why, when you take this off, a lot of the time it pulls the carbon clean off the... Oh well, I do, I suppose. There must be a situation, at least half the time, when you take this off, the adhesive properties rip the carbon off the mylar, but it probably wasn't supposed to work like that, but it does most of the time. But on these two instances I've been quite lucky, and that hasn't happened. And I wonder if it's because of the heat. I'm wondering if the application of quite a lot of heat to the board is just enough to allow the adhesive strip to release without doing significant damage to the carbon fingers on the mylar. Well, this is the second time in as many days that I haven't had to mess around with paint, so perhaps there's something in it, I don't know. But this mylar did come off very easily. So I'm scraping away gently as I can all this crap, and now I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go in hard, and I'm going to go in with acetone to get the rest off. Then we might just get a working keyboard just in time for the wife coming home. And won't she be pleased about that? And this live session will have to span yet another day. Have I got any response from Martin yet, or is he still in the pub? He must be in the pub. Okay, so there you are. Right. On the right, on the left, before acetone on cotton bud. On the right, after acetone on cotton bud. Okay. This is your nail polish remover grade acetone stuff. Awful stuff. It absolutely destroys anything plastic that it will get near. But we're capitalizing on that property here because that's what we want. Isopropyl won't get this off entirely. In my experience, it won't. What you might want to do, actually, hope it, as long as it won't blow up, as long as the compound remains stable, you might want to do some sort of blend of acetone and isopropyl. I read about that as well. Some people use that for PCB cleaning. This PCB has a lot of scratches on it, and they're not my fault. I don't know where they came from. There's a lot of scuff marks on the corner of this board here, but we'll give it a little quick clean, and we'll put it back together, and hopefully we'll get some keys. And that'll be a nice neat conclusion, and that will mean that tomorrow I'll have to be presentable again, which is irritating because I didn't think I'd have to be. All that effort of going in the bath, and I've got to be presentable again tomorrow at some point. Never mind. Okay, so here's the cleaned PCB, complete with the little scratches that we don't know where they came from. Here's a Mylar, complete with strange little crease. It's pretty much mint. Actually, nothing got damaged there at all, so everything looks fine. So we're going to drop this back on here and align it with the holes so it's correctly oriented. It looks about right. It should just about line up with the edges of the board, more or less. And it's very difficult to move once it's actually in place. Is that about right? That's about right. I'm not going to obsess about that too much. I'm going to check the back here for any dirt or crap. Seems to be nice and clean. So after you've done this, if you still don't have keys, you're really looking at poor connectivity across that area here where the Mylar meets the PCB, which shouldn't be a problem. Or you've got a problem with one of the keys. I mean, you'll know straight away if there's a whole bank of keys still doesn't work, then it's going to be something to do with this. But if it's just the odd key, then you're looking at maybe sometimes the keys just need a. Actually, sometimes the keys just need a good whack. I mean, I say that with, you know, advisedly, as it were, but just hitting the key about half a dozen times sometimes loosens things up sufficiently that it just starts to work. Because sometimes they've just been sitting in a warehouse or a shed for 30 odd years, you know, it's understandable. But this should, if it works, this should never ever need attention again for, I mean, the life of the machine. Another 30 years, or at least, until there's some sort of mechanical failure on the keyboard. It should be good. So let's have a look and see. We'll put a few screws in just to hold the thing together. And let's see what we get. Again. I really need to replace this mat as well. A horrible feeling that it accumulates static electricity. But anyway, not that I want to worry anyone, of course. Right. Takes us neatly up to 9 o'clock. Okay, let's switch on. Alrighty. Help. Select. Now to guess where these keys are. Start. Well, we know they work. Escape 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Backspace. Control Shift ASDFG KL. Caps key, other Shift key. Z X spacebar. Oh shit. Function keys, cool function keys. Yes, this works, doesn't it? Ah, bollocks. Alright. Okay, so it works. There we go. So it's fixed. So just put the rest of the screws in and they are done. So that's how you again fix a 1200 XL keyboard. That one came away really nicely. Very nice. Much better than the other one. So this person is very lucky. He has two 1200 XL keyboards that require repair, which suggests to me that he, oh shit, I've took my advert off. it suggests to me that this person has just got 2 new 1200 XLs. I'll test these again before they go, because some strange stuff can happen. Just putting the screws in the damn things can sometimes miraculously cause an issue, but it's rare. When you put the screws back in these things, back the screw up at least a full turn before you go. You'll hear it click as the screw drops into place. This ensures you do not cross the thread and strip the plastic. I've done that many times until I learned that you should back the screw up, and you hear the click. There we go. Click, and we know we're good to go. So you need to know that you're in the hole properly before you start ramming it in fully. That is very important. There we go. Click, screw. Click, screw. I wonder what my beloved will say when she comes through the door tonight. It'll probably be, "Are you coming in, Sonny?" Probably talking to one of the cats that's trying to get in as she's coming in. There we go. Working 1200 XL keyboard. It's a very nice keyboard as well. It's really, really, really nice console key. So I wonder what the machine looks like. I don't get to see the machine. I just get sent the insides, but looks like a nice machine. Alright. There's a teensy little chance I might come back on later on if I feel like I've got all the parts for this thing ready. But I'm not going to count on it. Oh, it's ridiculous. So that is the... I'm losing my mind here. That's the ClearPic modification for the Atari 1200 XL. And a keyboard fix. And we're going to do these next time, so be sure to tune in for that one. It's going to be fantastic. So thank you very much for everybody who was in chat and who was watching. Thank you to Atariado and Transgression 2 and others in chat. It makes me feel like I'm, you know, not alone, which is nice. So thank you very much for watching, and if I don't see you later on this evening, if you're around, I'll see you over the weekend if you can drop by when we go live again. And I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it interesting. Do I've got to see if we're if I've got a 500 subscriber yet. I have to see that. Hold on. I'll have to find out. Hold on. Where do I find that out? Get the keyboard, because that would be nice. But we're still at 499. Oh, bugger! Still at 499. All right then. So hopefully the next stream we will have 500 subscribers, and that'll be, God, what a moment that'll be. Oh, half of them subscribed for guitar videos about 5 years ago, but then we're not gonna. Let's not worry about details like that. So okay, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. Please give a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next stream.